Here we have a proof of concept project that was implemented using Attivio's active intelligence engine for one of our customers, who was a wealth management firm for high value customers. The use case was that when a customer called into the call center, they wanted their representatives to be able to immediately get a 360-degree view of that customer so that they could speak to them as if they'd known them and they'd been their dedicated account manager for some time. So if I'm a phone rep and I receive a call from a Mr. Zimmerman, I'm going to start off by searching for him. Of course, you see here autocomplete on the name, and this is contextual. This is only suggesting records that actually exist in the index. Or instead of accepting one of those, I can do a partial search or wildcard search and get the summary of the matches and click here to select. So if I select Mr. Gregory Zimmerman here, we can see I choose that, and it immediately updates with another single query to the AIE with all of his information. And what you see here is essentially a dashboard. Important thing to keep in mind here is that this entire dashboard is being populated by the results of a single query against the AIE. We're simply searching for Mr. Zimmerman. The AIE has been configured to interface with a variety of back-end systems and pull content into the engine, index it, and give navigation, faceted views into all of the content. So this query is actually just a single multi-join query executed against the AIE, against one engine, and all of these results come back. So the first thing we take a look at here is in this top left corner. This is content that has been pulled in from a client relationship management system, a typical CRM database. We see his name, his address, his overall holdings. We see some family information, customer level, risk tolerance, etc. Below that, we're seeing holdings information, his actual portfolio. We're seeing a couple different views into it. We're looking at sort of a detail level view first in the data grid, where we're looking at per holding, quantities, current price, value, purchase date, etc. And we're also showing that in aggregate, so we look at his portfolio overall and see how it's broken out. Again, those queries, those aggregates and those different calculations are being done at query time. There is no data warehousing backend that is doing a large extraction, translation, and load process to crunch those numbers together in aggregate. It's just an aggregate query. Similarly, over here, we're showing data that we've pulled in from a stock pricing system. So we can represent, in this case, in a timeline view, the value of Mr. Zimmerman's holdings over time. So far, all of these data sources are pretty highly structured. Certainly, sales or transactional holdings data is very highly structured. Similarly, the CRM system is using a normalized database structure behind it. But we can, with the AIE, we can pull in unstructured content as well, emails, documents, plain text. And by using entity extraction to identify entities within that, things like email addresses that might be in the CRM system tied to a specific customer, we can do things like show all of the email interactions between Mr. Zimmerman and our company. We can also show content that has been ingested from a document management system right alongside that and allow you to pop out to a native viewer and view those. And of course, we will respect any sort of access controls that are put on those documents. That as well, the access controls, the group-based or hierarchical structure of those permissions can also be ingested into the AIE and essentially joined into via an allow or deny operator, which is really just a specialized join at query time. So far, what we've talked about here is essentially using Mr. Zimmerman's identity as the join key, whether it's his name or his account number. It's all joining around the customer. But with the AIE's join query and combined with entity extraction and all the things that help derive structure from unstructured content, we can join on other things. We can join on his holdings or his zip code if we want to get information tied to his area or a a particular security. So in this case here, we're showing, on the left here, we're showing stock news that we have ingested via RSS feed on all of his holdings. And we can actually, if you think about it, these representations here are really just facets. It's just a different way to present a facet. So if I come in and click on different securities, you can see the stock news changing. We're applying filter. When I click on ticker symbol T, it changes it to only show stock news that has been related to AT&T, for example. Similarly with Halliburton. So we can use any fielded data as a join key, and we can apply good search navigation and operations and best practices even to structured data to do things like faceted navigation through the structured content or via the structured content. Similarly, we can make live calls out to other systems via API at query time. So we can call out to a recommendation engine to come back with recommendations based on Mr. Zimmerman's metadata, his holdings, the market conditions. We can get recommendations. If we have, as a wealth management firm, if we have intellectual property and value add around recommendations that has been productized or implemented on the back end, we can make use of that via the AIE. Federate the results into our dashboard. And of course, we can call out to Yahoo Maps or any external services like that to show regional information or geographical information. And another unique feature of the AIE is that we have the ability to do low latency atomic updates to individual fields, database style updates, if you will. Whereas the traditional legacy search engine approach is if you want to change a piece of data on a document, you have to modify that source document and re-ingest everything. In our case, we can do a small update to just that field. So an example of that is this notes section here. We have the history of the notes from the client service reps as they've spoken to Mr. Zimmerman in the past. I can come in and add a new note. I add that issues a partial update in the AIE to just attach this new value to his record. And of course, since it's in a search engine or search engine index, I can come in and search within those immediately. So I think this should give you a pretty good sense of a typical voice of the customer dashboard type of application, how it can be implemented and backed by the AIE, and how you can make use of the AIE's unique ability to ingest structured data and unstructured content and apply all the best practices of each to give you things like faceted navigation, exploration, aggregate reporting, and real-time field updates all in one simple user interface.